What if we could breathe underwater? Throughout the long arc of evolutionary history, humans have always been bound by biological limitations, especially our reliance on breathing air. Because of this, over 70% of Earth's surface, the vast expanse of our oceans, remains largely unexplored and shrouded in mystery. But what if one day that limitation disappeared? What if humans could breathe underwater just like fish? Would the world as we know it still look the same? Though it may sound like the stuff of science fiction, this possibility opens the door to incredible potential, from building underwater cities to unlocking ecosystems that have never been touched. At the same time, it raises a host of scientific questions about human physiology, environmental physics, and the future of technology. So let's dive into the idea. Imagine, analyze, and explore. What would truly happen if humankind gained the ability to breathe beneath the waves? For millions of years of evolution, humanity has been closely tied to solid ground, the place where we build our homes, develop civilizations, and shape our lives. But as the global population continues to grow, resources become scarcer, and climate change threatens coastal regions around the world. The question of expanding our living space, whether into outer space or the depths of the ocean, has become more urgent than ever. If humans could breathe underwater, we would no longer be limited by the atmosphere, opening up access to a massive portion of the planet that remains largely untapped, the ocean. Covering more than 70% of Earth's surface, the ocean is not only a vast reserve of biological and mineral wealth, but also a frontier full of potential for establishing new human settlements. In this context, the idea of building underwater cities, once confined to the realms of sci-fi novels and futuristic films, starts to seem more feasible than ever. Thanks to advancements in construction technology and materials science, building structures on the seafloor could become reality, provided we can breathe underwater like fish. Instead of crowded streets and skyscrapers, underwater cities could take the form of dome-shaped or tower-like complexes built with specialized materials such as pressure-resistant concrete, corrosion-proof titanium alloys, or ultra-durable polymer glass. These materials would allow natural light to filter through, creating a living space that is both functional and breathtaking. These structures would need to withstand immense pressure at depths of hundreds of meters, while maintaining safety, stability, and connectivity to the surface or other underwater communities. With the ability to breathe underwater, humans would no longer be confined to sealed environments like submarines or research stations. We could move freely, study, work, and live directly in the heart of the ocean, once considered an unreachable realm. This would mark the first step toward transforming the ocean into humanity's second home. Since the dawn of civilization, the ocean has stood as a symbol of mystery and challenge. Despite inventing submarines, deep-sea robots, and advanced exploration equipment, humans have only explored about 5% of the ocean floor, a remarkably small fraction considering the vastness of our blue planet. The rest remains a dark, cold, and enigmatic world, home to bizarre creatures never before seen, ecosystems completely isolated from surface life, and possibly untapped resources hidden beneath the waves. But what if we could breathe underwater? If this biological limitation were removed, and humans could immerse themselves in the ocean like any marine creature, the door to exploration would swing wide open. Freed from reliance on oxygen tanks, time limits, and bulky equipment, diving, observing, and studying the deep sea could become as natural and accessible as a walk through the forest. Places like the Mariana Trench, underwater volcanoes, or unexplored ocean caves could become new scientific frontiers, where every expedition holds the potential for discoveries that might reshape our understanding of life itself. Beyond exploration, the ability to breathe underwater could revolutionize how we study and protect the ocean. We could directly observe coral formation, the social behavior of marine animals, and subtle ecological shifts previously too difficult to monitor regularly. Living beneath the waves would allow us to build a deeper, more personal connection with the marine environment, not just seeing it as a resource to extract, but as an integral part of life on Earth. Once we become part of the ocean, the urgency to protect it will no longer be abstract. It will be personal and immediate. We would witness firsthand the devastating effects of plastic pollution, ocean acidification, and the decline of biodiversity. In response, we would act not just as inhabitants of the land, but as citizens of the deep sea, driven to safeguard the very world that sustains us. As the global population approaches 10 billion, the demand for food and energy has become a critical challenge for humanity. While land-based resources are rapidly depleting and agricultural areas are shrinking due to urbanization and climate change, the ocean, covering more than 70% of Earth's surface, remains an underutilized treasure trove. If humans could breathe underwater, it would not only revolutionize our living space, but also usher in a new era of food production and energy development. The ability to breathe underwater would allow humans to directly and continuously access the deep-sea environment, something that previously required high costs, advanced technology, and limited dive time. With this newfound advantage, large-scale ocean farming would become more feasible than ever. Fields of nutrient-rich algae and seaweed, easy to cultivate and capable of absorbing CO2, could serve as vital sources of food and sustainable biomaterials. Additionally, eco-friendly aquaculture systems for raising fish, shrimp, and shellfish could be implemented on-site, cutting transportation costs and minimizing ecological impact. Beyond food, the ocean holds immense potential as an energy source. With the ability to operate underwater, engineers, technicians, and scientists could directly monitor and maintain tidal, current, and wave energy facilities, improving both efficiency and safety. Floating solar farms could also be deployed across vast ocean surfaces, providing abundant clean power for underwater cities or coastal communities. This vision lays the foundation for a sustainable ocean-based economy, where humans not only live and work beneath the sea, but also manage its resources responsibly and in balance with nature. By establishing a permanent presence underwater, we could expand the frontiers of food and energy production while forging a more harmonious relationship with the ocean, an essential step toward securing a long-term future for our blue planet. The idea of humans being able to breathe underwater paints a captivating vision, from futuristic submerged cities to a sustainable ocean-based agricultural system. However, like any revolutionary leap in biology and technology, this ability would come with not only vast opportunities, but also profound challenges, physiological, environmental, and survival-related. The ocean is a foreign world governed by harsh natural laws, a place where not all creatures are welcome, even if we could breathe like one of them. First and foremost, the rapid increase in water pressure with depth poses a serious biological hurdle. At just 10 meters below the surface, pressure doubles compared to sea level. At hundreds of meters deep, the human body would face forces dozens of times greater than atmospheric pressure. Simply being able to breathe underwater wouldn't solve this. Our bodies would need to be redesigned to withstand such extremes, from skeletal structure and circulatory systems to respiratory function. Additionally, ocean temperatures plummet at depth, requiring either enhanced thermal regulation or specialized equipment to retain body heat. Another significant challenge lies in underwater communication and navigation. While sound travels faster in water, it also distorts more easily, making spoken communication far less reliable. Tools such as sonar, light signals, or standardized gesture-based languages would need to be developed and adopted to replace traditional speech. This isn't just a matter of convenience. It's essential for safety in tasks like underwater construction, rescue missions, or community coordination. Finally, living beneath the sea means coexisting with a vast array of marine life, some of which can be dangerous. Sharks, venomous jellyfish, giant squids, and possibly even unknown species could pose threats if not properly understood or managed. Directly interacting with these ecosystems also carries the risk of disrupting delicate environmental balances, particularly if approached without caution and scientific insight. For humanity to become true residents of the ocean, we must first overcome obstacles that are not only technological, but deeply rooted in evolutionary biology. These challenges should not be underestimated, for they will ultimately determine whether the dream of underwater living becomes a monumental step forward or remains an unfulfilled fantasy. If the ability to breathe underwater ever becomes a reality, it would mark an unprecedented turning point in human evolutionary history. However, to truly live, learn, work, and thrive long-term beneath the ocean's surface, breathing would be only the beginning. Much like humanity's first steps on the moon or our ventures into outer space, surviving in an entirely foreign environment like the deep sea would require a sweeping revolution in both technology and biology, where every detail, from physiology to infrastructure, must be redesigned for adaptation. To start, underwater respiration, whether achieved through natural biological evolution or advanced technological intervention, comes with a host of complex demands. Modern theories propose implantable respiratory aids, such as artificial gills or internal filtration membranes, that extract oxygen directly from water, much like fish do. These systems would need to be compact, durable, long-lasting, and biologically safe in challenging conditions, like high salinity, intense pressure, and low temperatures. Equally critical is the need for underwater communication and navigation, which are essential for building a functioning society beneath the waves. Acoustic communication systems, light-based signaling, and electromagnetic transmissions would need to be developed and standardized. Personal navigation devices, short-range radar, and environmental alert systems, capable of detecting hostile marine life, strong currents, or localized pollution, would function as a sixth sense in an environment where vision and sound are severely limited. Robust life support systems would also be indispensable, ranging from desalination units and waste recycling to pressure temperature regulation and nutritional delivery under low-light, low-oxygen conditions. A closed-loop ecosystem model, similar to that of space stations, might serve as the foundation for underwater habitats, where every resource is carefully regenerated, reused, and managed with precision. All of this makes it clear, to live underwater as we do on land, humanity must not only rethink its relationship with the ocean, but also reinvent itself, physically and intellectually. The fusion of cutting-edge technology and deep biological insight will be the key to transforming the ocean into humanity's next promised land. The idea of humans breathing underwater is more than just a biological leap. It's the opening chapter of a revolutionary shift in how we see the world and ourselves. For thousands of years, humanity has evolved in harmony with life on land, where air, gravity, sunlight, and familiar ecosystems have shaped every civilization. But if underwater breathing becomes a reality, those boundaries are instantly redrawn. We would no longer be creatures of the surface alone. We would become inhabitants of two worlds, land and ocean. However, entering an era of multi-environmental living requires more than just physiological or technological change. It demands deep adaptation in culture, society, and mindset. The ocean is an autonomous ecosystem, governed by physical, environmental, and biological rules that differ drastically from those on land. Dim light, high pressure, low temperatures, and the presence of unfamiliar, often mysterious life forms mean that underwater life can't simply be a relocation. It would be a fundamental transformation of existence, where every decision, behavior, and social structure must be recalibrated to fit an entirely new reality. Just like humanity's first steps into outer space, establishing an underwater civilization would require a seamless integration of science, technology, biology, and life philosophy. We would need to ask ourselves, what is truly essential to survive? How do we maintain happiness, creativity, and community in a foreign environment? And most importantly, how do we interact with the ocean, a vibrant, mysterious, and deeply fragile world? The ability to breathe underwater, then, is not a declaration of dominance over nature, but an invitation to engage in a respectful dialogue with a part of Earth we've long neglected. It's a future full of wonder and challenge, but one reserved for those willing to imagine boldly, innovate radically, and transform the very way we live. The future of underwater breathing is both magical and demanding, a future where humanity might one day touch dreams that once seemed impossible. What do you think about this vision? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and support the channel, and make sure to hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching.